Broken Hill back in the 80s, nobody gave a stuff, really. The footpaths were a mess, bloody branches falling down. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's a mining town thing, because there's that sense of things not being that permanent, that the people who stayed here because they chose to be here. And when I came back in 2000, I saw a town that was proud of its roots. It was proud of restoring and preserving what we had.
We've been a tourism destination for over 30 years now. You know, we're the first city in Australia to be National Heritage listed. That this is something that can galvanise everybody and give us a purpose to move forward for the future.
Part of the reason why this building is so wonderful is that it missed all of the renovations that happened in the 80s and 90s. This place missed that, and I would hate to think that as we take it forward in its new life, that we just give it a delayed, complete sort of makeover that is insensitive to what already exists here. Creates lots of lengthy discussions with my partners about aesthetics and colours and what we should be doing. But hopefully we're breathing new life and still giving respect to its past. The listing, I think, just gives another reason to remind, firstly, locals, this is a special city, and that things that they do here and that they produce here really can have a much broader audience.
It would be easy to come in and, I guess, trade off the history and the heritage here, but the thing about Broken Hill that's so impressive is that it is what it is. And the challenge and the opportunity is about how to tell those stories in a meaningful way. Bells started out as Fenton's confectioner and cordial maker in 1892, one of Broken Hill's longest operating businesses. It was like an old car that you find in a field. You know, it's the original parts are there, and it's a classic. And you might have to do a few modifications, and then at the end you can get something that's really cool to drive. I mean, my vision is for the Bells to be recognised as making the best milkshakes and spiders in Australia, in the most authentic and quirky milk bar environment.
Things become possible out here sometimes, I think. When I was in primary school, I just loved to be a chef, but I thought, I don't want to end up in a nursing home regretting that I haven't achieved that. So I thought, bugger it, I'm going to TAFE, and I'm going in as a first-year apprentice, and I was old enough to be everybody's father. Went through with everybody, and now I'm executive chef in a restaurant and have a show that's getting viewing internationally. So the most popular video had like 60,000 views. I love that I've always got a glass of wine floating around on the table. That's normal for me. But it shows what you can do, that, you know, two people sitting out in the middle of nowhere in Broken Hill.
Australians need to come and see us. You know, this is where the birthplace of the big Australian came from. We're in the middle of the Outback. You know, we're surrounded by desert. And can I say, one of my favourite times at night is sitting out in the scrub, watching the Milky Way just surround you and then disappear. It's absolutely fabulous. But it also helps when you've got a little glass of red or next to you as well, so it's good fun.
I actually find more and more as I discover stories about the building, I feel very proud to become a part of its new history.
If you combine that history with the authenticity of the current Broken Hill experience and you leave it in the hands of this group of creative people buoyed by the heritage listing, then the future is very bright. I think Broken Hill is redeveloping itself as this, colourful, wonderful environment out in the middle of Australia.
I think that every Australian, regardless of their nationality or their heritage, needs to come and look at Broken Hill, of where Australia has come from to now.